Look at the physical scale of the new artificial intelligence data centers being built right now. They are immense complexes, requiring continuous, massive power draws. To supply these hubs, global electricity demand is climbing at a rate we have not witnessed since the end of World War II. The financial response is equally massive. Grid operators are preparing to deploy $5.8 trillion globally by 2035, backed by major government initiatives like a recent $1.9 billion grant from the Department of Energy. This data table illustrates how that money is tracked. The planners manage strict hardware metrics. They focus on load forecasts, battery storage additions, and megawatts of new capacity. These hardware metrics are necessary for basic operations, but they leave a massive hidden liability off the books. Planners are looking at only half the problem. They are logging the physical hardware of the grid while ignoring the living, human, and environmental systems that actually keep that hardware functioning. By treating the power grid as a closed loop of wires and steel, operators are building a massive, unhedged financial risk into the base layer of the global economy. Consider the transmission line technician commuting 90 minutes each way, or the substation engineer pulling 60-hour weeks. Public health research shows that chronic stress and irregular shifts cost these utility workers nearly 3 years of life expectancy. That exhaustion translates directly into a talent retention crisis. Linemen are retiring early, and engineers are burning out, costing grid operators millions in constant turnover and recruitment. Then there is the household paying the bill. A family forced to spend 12% of their after-tax income on energy is often choosing between staying warm and buying medication. When energy poverty deepens, utilities face surging bad debt, mass disconnections, and rising social unrest across their entire footprint. Behind both the worker and the household is the caregiver. Spouses and adult children regularly surrender their own careers to manage homes, while utility workers remain on call around the clock. This invisible labor pulls people out of the workforce, suppressing local economies and restricting the talent pool available to these very companies. Human exhaustion is a direct, measurable drain on the system's operational balance sheet. Beyond the human toll, there is the physical environment. The dense server racks inside these new AI data centers require millions of gallons of water to stay cool. As a result, vital aquifers and major river basins like the Colorado River are dropping every year. Communities losing access to that clean water lose more than 4 years of life expectancy. If the watershed fails, the data centers lose their cooling. When the data centers fail, the electricity load disappears, and the utility's entire business model collapses. Finally, there is the ledger of purpose. The engineers and operators managing the system from sterile control rooms rarely see the families whose lives they improve with reliable power. When people cannot feel the impact of their work, they leave. This disconnect creates severe institutional knowledge loss, as experienced operators quit for jobs where they can actually see the difference they make. The grid's primary failure is one of data architecture. These 5 interdependent ledgers have never been allowed to meet. Right now, the industry is paying a massive $7 trillion annual fragmentation tax. This money vanishes into supply chain disruptions, litigation, and crisis response because the system only operates defensively. For every dollar deployed to close the gaps between ledgers, $36 of trapped value becomes accessible. Protecting the watershed reduces massive physical asset risks. Stabilizing struggling households directly shrinks the grid's bad debt and compliance costs. The window to apply this math is open right now. Nearly $6 trillion is actively moving into interconnection queues and massive capacity upgrades. True grid resilience depends on seeing the whole picture. Integrating systems builds a stable workforce, a sustainable environment, and a resilient global economy.